A lot of people know they need to be more assertive. They've been told it. They've read about it. They might even agree with it. And yet, when the moment comes, when someone crosses a line, when something needs to be said, when they need to ask for what they actually want, something stops them. Not laziness, not indifference, not even fear exactly. Something deeper than fear. Something that feels like, if I say this, something bad will happen. And the question worth asking is, where did that come from? Because assertiveness isn't just a communication skill. It's not something you learn in a workshop and then apply cleanly to your life. For a lot of people, especially people who grew up in environments where expressing needs was met with dismissal, withdrawal, anger, or simply nothing, assertiveness became associated with a cost. You learned that saying what you needed didn't get you what you needed. It got you something else. Something that felt worse than staying quiet. So you adapted. You learned to manage your needs rather than express them. You learned to soften everything, to frame things carefully, to ask without really asking, to want without showing it. And for a long time, that kept things stable. It kept the peace. It kept the rejection at bay. But it also kept you small. And now you're here, knowing that something needs to change, but finding that every time you try to speak up, something in you pulls back. There are 3 things I see happening with people who struggle to be assertive after difficult relational experiences. The first is that assertiveness got confused with aggression. In environments where conflict was unpredictable, where someone's mood could shift without warning, where speaking up meant things escalated, you learned to associate directness with danger. Not consciously, but your nervous system made the connection. Direct communication equals escalation. Escalation equals loss of safety. Loss of safety equals do whatever it takes to bring things back down. So now, even in safe relationships, even with people who would actually welcome your honesty, your body responds to assertiveness the way it learned to respond to conflict. With shutdown, with appeasement, with the familiar urge to smooth everything over before it has a chance to get worse. The second is that expressing needs became evidence of being too much. If you were told directly or indirectly that your needs are inconvenient, excessive, a burden, then asking for what you need starts to feel like an act of imposition, like you're asking for something you don't really deserve. And so, instead of saying what you actually need, you watch. You try to read the room. You wait for the right moment that never quite comes. You tell yourself, if you bring it up later, but later never comes. Because the cost of asking always feels higher than the cost of going without. The third is that assertiveness can feel like it threatens the connection. This one is the most subtle. If the people you've been closest to have been people who needed you to be a certain way, agreeable, accommodating, easy, then being more honest, more direct, more yourself can feel like you're putting the relationship at risk. Like the version of you that they love is the version that doesn't ask for too much, that doesn't push back, that lets things go. And you've held on to that version because the connection felt more important than the cost of maintaining it, until the cost became too high to ignore. Here's what I want you to hear. Assertiveness isn't about becoming someone different. It isn't about being louder or more demanding or harder to be around. It's about telling the truth in a way that honors both you and the person you're saying it to. It's about trusting that what you need is worth saying out loud. That you don't have to earn the right to have needs. that a relationship that can only survive your silence isn't the kind of relationship that was ever fully safe. Learning to be assertive after experiences that taught you it wasn't safe, that's not a communication skill. That's a reclamation. And it doesn't happen overnight. But it starts somewhere. Usually with one conversation that scares you enough to tell the truth anyway. If you're in this place, if you recognize yourself in what I've described, and you want to explore what actually shifts this, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I offer free 30-minute clarity calls for people who are ready to look at this honestly and figure out what the next step actually is. Because the people who need this most are usually the ones who've waited the longest to ask for help. The link is in the description. Deeper understanding, real change.